afternoon, everyone. I'm your host, Divyan, and I'm pleased to welcome you to our latest episode of Learning Bytes. How is data analytics supporting digital transformation for businesses? I am glad to have you all joining us today. With a shift happening in many industries, a lot of people have been wondering how data can help businesses thrive and navigate through these uncertain times. More and more business owners have been looking at data analytics tools to help them grow their businesses. In our session today, our speaker will be discussing what is data analytics and how businesses can benefit from adopting data analytics practices. They will also be giving more insight on how some of the data analytics tools are used. Before introducing the speakers, let me share that you will have the opportunity to submit your questions by typing them into the Zoom chat box. You can send in your questions at any time during the panel discussion, and we will address them during the Q&A. And now it's time to introduce our guest speaker. Our guest speaker for today's event is Mr. Pranjal, co-founder and CEO of Zaltius Private Limited. Mr. Pranjal is someone who is a strong business professional, having experience in various domains including retail, products, finance, and education. He has over 10 years of industry experience working with various technologies on the business, intelligence, and analytical front. Truly committed to making things happen, he puts a lot of effort in the initiatives and business operations he is involved in. We also have Dalen, who is the founder and general manager at ClearScore, and who is the host for today's session. Without further ado, I would like to pass the floor to Dalen.
Thank you, Divyan. That's Divyan from our marketing team. Let's give it up to Divyan. And welcome to our very short and quick webinar session called Learning Bytes. This is specifically designed for working professionals like yourself who just wants to come in and take a quick learning or listen in less than half an hour and take something away. So today we have a special guest who is actually a practitioner himself. Pranjal, he used to be working at DBS and data operations. So we're going to get him to share a little bit about his experience working there, but also experience while working with some of the clients that Celtius actually deals with. I'm not sure if I'm actually butchering the name. Is that how I pronounce your name and also your company's name?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct, Dylan.
Yeah. So so Pranjal, let's just start off. I know you've done various projects for banks, for various companies. You know, what's the most interesting project you've encountered thus far?
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. Again, first of all, thanks, Davian, for the nice introduction. And yes, today, I mean, I would just request everyone to, let's be frank, let's be open up, share some of our experiences, questions if you have. And today, myself and Dylan will try, our best to, enrich you through all the experiences that what we have and some of the things that were discussed. So yes, again, Dylan, coming back to your question. Okay, so maybe a brief about like myself in terms of the experiences. So I've been into analytics domain from last around 10 years or so. So the one thing that I noticed or what I experienced in all of my, the different clients that I have worked with is like there are certain things that they want in any organizations, be it related to your data, be it related to your operations, but the exact way of doing it, how to make sure that the way is efficient is something not clear to them. So when it comes to analytics, when it comes to the capabilities of analytics, that what these things can do, then there is a need of them using, the data to the fullest. So this part is missing. And when it started like 10 years back till now, I can see a lot of improvement, a lot of progress that companies are doing. They're spending a lot, in terms of money, in terms of resource, in terms of time as well, to make sure now where they are, they can reach to the peak and they can use the data to the, full potential.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing you say is that actually when many companies undergo a journey whereby they want to be more data centric, for example, the way they're doing it is actually quite inefficient because they know what is the goal, what's the outcome, and what's the vision, but they don't know how to get there in between. So when we talk about you coming in to help, I know like Celsius provides a few services and a few areas. So you want to talk a little bit about how Celsius comes in to kind of help companies on their digital transformation or data transformation journeys?
Yeah, so exactly. So basically, us, I mean, the Xaltius, when we started, there was a reason behind it why we started. So we all, like all of our founders, they are coming from a industry background. So we work in the different domains and sectors. But the only thing that common was the data and the skill set that what is required to handle it. So that's how we thought that okay, let's help the companies, and also the workforce here in Singapore and the other regions as well, to do to have that capability, to have that potential as well, to how to handle the data. And that's how the Xaltius came into picture. So Xaltius, just to give a very brief introduction, Xaltius is a edtech company. We focus more on the data side of the part, like be it your data engineering, be it your data analytics, data science, and so on. So when it comes to and we focus mostly now on the edtech side. So we are kind of edtech company. So on education is our one of the domain that what we kind of focusing. But yes, along with that, we do deal with the different sectors. For example, finance, marketing, or you have the retail as well. You have the supply chain, logistics as well. So these are certain areas because data is everywhere. Frankly, if you ask me what is data analytics, I would say data and analytics go hand in hand. In fact, actually, the terms are used so frequently together that it's swapped into the hybrid term called data analytics. Right now, it's what data analytics is. What it's just, I would say, the measurement and kind of gathering of stats, or maybe the facts, observations, and anything that what we can see. And what is the output is actually we want something to get a well thought out, the business decisions. That's what the data analytics is. So if you see when it started, like the analytics journey is not new, I would say. It started long back, but the things that the scope of the analytics was like not that much. So if you see nowadays, I mean, initially it was just, for example, if you talk about what are the different things analytics can do, or maybe the different kind of analytics that what we have is like maybe descriptive analytics. All of people know about that, right? Then you have some kind of predictive as well. You have prescriptive as well. And one more is now diagnostic. So diagnostic is another one which people actually not aware of kind of thing. So see, slowly there is you can see the capabilities of analytics in the field of this, right? And that's how we also focus that our customers, our partners, make sure that we use the full capability of analytics. We handle the data accordingly, and we give them the best solution for their business to boost and to make the profits. And also in terms of the trainings, we make sure that our learners, our those who want to learn, come into this field, they get a better experience.
Yeah, then that makes a lot of sense. So what I hear you say is that you support companies in a few areas, including in training, as well as other areas whereby you help them to collect their data and decide what's the appropriate strategy to go ahead in terms of doing data, whether it's for predictive analytics or whether it's for like diagnostic type of analytics. So actually, let's kind of dive a little bit deeper into some of these things that you just mentioned. Like, what's the difference between, say, diagnostic and predictive analytics? Yeah,
of course. So so for example, I mean let me talk about all the four that what I mentioned. So descriptive is kind of quite common, where you have the data, for example, what happened, right? What happened based on the data set. You can see that, okay, study something happened. That's called descriptive analysis. That's what we do. Predictive is something when you decide you want to know the future, right? Therefore, tomorrow what will happen, that's we call it as prediction. We are making some predictions based on the data, based on the history, right? So that's our predictive analysis we do. Prescriptive, when it comes, meaning that something will happen, and then you are recommending something as well, that hey, these two things will probably happen tomorrow, so let's do this thing, to make the just we are kind of prescribing someone, just like you do for medicines, right? So same kind of prescriptive analysis. That's a different from predictive. It's a predictive plus advanced level of analytics, that we are recommendation that what we are applying on the top of that. And diagnostic is also it's a very fine difference between these two, actually. So diagnostic, when it comes, it means that you are, again, as the term suggests, it's you are diagnosing, right? It's you are you want to see the root cause of it, of certain thing, right? And then you want to fix it. So again, it all helps with the data only. You can see the root cause and then you're trying to fix what is the best way. For example, I'll just give a very basic example. Sales is not doing good for any company. So we will, along with the descriptive and the other things, we'll use the diagnostic as well to see that, okay, what is the root cause and how we can fix it. So it's a very fine difference actually. That's why it's not that popular, but yes, this is something that what is another level of the analytics that what we do.
Well, thank you so much for giving those analogy and explanation how it's valuable to a business. I often hear that in analytics team and the risk team is usually at conflict with each other. Do you want to talk a little bit more about working with risk or dealing with risk and how data plays a role while working with risk? Yeah.
Okay, so I would say in terms of business, this risk management is something that is very crucial, okay, for any organization, be it any domain. So in terms of the data that what we do is kind of analytics plays a very crucial role in identifying the different patterns, okay. Now, when it comes to risk, there are multiple parameters that how we can define why there is risk to any company, right? For example, the profit, maybe profit is not good, it's a risk to company, right? There is employee attrition. If the employee is leaving, it's a risk to company, right? If suppose you are not covering, your marketing team is not strong, you're not covering any specific geographical areas, or maybe that would have risk to a company. So how the data and how the analytics can help is, again, the risk team need to be very closely with the data. That's why it said that risk team have to work very closely with the data team, so that the data team can use the data of the whatever the different things that the risk team has, and then they can apply analytics on top of that. They can give the suggestions, they can give the recommendations to the risk, that what could be the reason that employee suppose leaving, so what else you can do. So in every aspect, you see the analytics is there, be it your HR, be it your the different sectors. I mean, the analytics is everywhere. You want to forecast something, you want to transform your business model, you want to see whether you can go with any new opportunities for customers or not. You want to see the products, you want to see revenue streams and services and whatsoever. So analytics is everywhere, and that's how the risk team work very closely with the data team.
Okay. I believe most CEOs would agree that data is an important part of actually helping to grow the business or a direction that they want to take their business towards too. But let's say I'm an ordinary professional, like I maybe I'm a fresh graduate, or I'm just someone who is doing HR, or I'm trying to do something operations related. I'm not looking to change my career. Like, should I learn data analytics? There's so many things I can learn these days with my credits, with like all the subsidies and all that. Like, should I pick up data analytics, and why?
Yeah, of course, that's a very interesting question, I would say, and I really admire first the Singapore government, to provide these kind of subsidies, and trying to create that awareness of why data and why analytics and why these technologies are important. And I would say that's why we are kind of little ahead, as compared to the other geographical regions globally. So the thing here is, of course, you can do the things a lot when it comes to the data part, but the difference is the volume of the data. I mean, initially, if you talk about a decade back, the volume was not that much, in terms of the data. So there was no problem of data handling. There was no problem of data management. You could use the data just using your Excel sheet only, or maybe any Word file or Notepad file, and something like that only, right? So it was not a problem. But coming when the data got like, we are kind of generating data every day, every second, a huge amount of data that what you are generating. And that now is really difficult to manage it, right? So now if you doing the same traditional way of handling the data, it would be really difficult, or I would say impossible, to handle those amount of the data. And then where comes the analytical capabilities, right? Now in analytical capabilities also, we need to see first of all, it shouldn't like everyone is speaking, so we need to go into this side. No, you need to first understand the importance, necessity of analytics, necessity of the things that what it is really important to know. Most of the cases now, say most of the industries have the data. I would say more than 99% of data have the data, but they don't know how to use it, how to handle it, how to make use of, the things. And that's how this is a great opportunity for everyone, even for us as well. Even I have worked, a lot in analytics, but still there are a lot of new things that I can see, that I can learn how to, make it more and more interesting and comfortable, and, making my things easy. So I think it's everyone's duty, be it any organization, be it any role. You are talking about HR, you are talking about the associate level, or anyone, or even at the senior management level. You need to have that capability to getting insights from the data itself. So I think analytics is the key measure for the growth of any company, and also for as an individual, if you want to, progress in terms of, because the market is very competitive, the technology is booming, right? Everything is going up. If you are not like up to that level, probably you are losing something. So that's the reason that we need to go through these technologies to learn a lot.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I think that's definitely, you have highlighted the importance of actually sharing it now at this point in time, as being data literate is actually essential, and it's important for you as a professional. And I was thinking, like, maybe my math is not very good, right? So what's the level of math I need to come in to learn data analytics? Do I need to know my algebra? Do I still need to remember my quadratic equations?
Okay, that's another thing. Not only you, Dylan. Actually, I got this kind of questions. When we train our audience as well. So, I would say, everyone studied maths, right, in our school's time. But unfortunately, we are not applying it thoroughly. If you see that whatever we study, actually we forgot. I'm surprised that you know the names also, quadratic equations and so on, right? They are differentiation, integration, and there are like many things which we used to get scared of that time. So again, yes, that's a very good question, that how many maths and is important right now. I would say definitely a little bit of mathematics is there, which is basic thing. I mean, if you are comfortable with the secondary maths also, I think it's more than enough. But a little more of statistics is added on top of it, because now that's the difference between maths and stats. We know some formula, average formula, and so on. But how stats, how we can calculate, how we can get an idea from the data is called stats, right? So that stats is something, knowledge of stats is a little bit important. And even learning analytics, when we talk about maybe some big words like machine learning, we are kind of creating some models. In those places, we need to have at least some understanding of the stats. So I wouldn't say you go back to your secondary one and start doing the maths. It's just maybe quick concepts. Some of the things is important. Then I think that we can help. But yes, maths plus stats give you a better combination of learning analytics and the other, machine learning and the other, technical things as well.
Yeah, I'm really assured to hear about it, because I'm not really very good at math, but I do remember some of it back from secondary school. But I think when you think about it, it's that just means like anyone who knows subtraction, multiplication, division, right? They can do data analytics, and if they are aware about the fundamental rules of statistical thinking, right? And sometimes I think you're also covering some of the fundamental rules as you're going through training as well. Yeah. So as long as they are aware of that, they should be able to do data analytics, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe one example I would say, there are courses, for example, data analytics on any platform, be it Microsoft Excel, or be it, for example, Power BI, or be it Tableau, or anything, right? So the best part is nowadays we have predefined functions available. So even you don't remember the formula, but at least the concept, I think that would suffice. That you can use it, and then you can do all the analytics on top of it. That's the very interesting thing.
Yeah, that's really great. What if I'm someone who's just really used to using Excel, and I know you run a course on Power BI, like why should I learn a new software like Power BI and start like, trying to add more stress to my own work. Yeah.
Okay, that's yeah, it's a very I would say this question might come to everybody, I would say, here in our audience as well today, maybe because the basic fact is that everyone uses Excel. I mean, to what extent that doesn't matter, but either they just use for the data storage, or they just use for data management, or someone might be doing for the data analytics and so on. But there is a lot of things we still not aware of about the Excel capabilities. Excel is one of the best analytical tool or platform in the market available. We just don't know the capability of it, what Excel can do. So even you ask, hey, do you know Excel? People will say, yes, I know Excel. But the analytical things, the capability behind it, that's what we need to learn. And why I'm saying this is because once you use any platform, I think it would be very, very easy for you to pick up the new things. For example, Excel, you're aware of the platform, then you can easily do that the next level as well. But yes, here is the question. Why Power BI then? Okay, so there must be something that why people also look for another platform. There are still some limitations on Excel. For example, big data. Excel platform cannot handle the big data. When the data becomes too huge, then Excel will kind of hang out. You will see that it will not function properly, and that's the reason. So up to a certain extent of the data, Excel is very good. But yes, if you are handling the big data, then you need to move on a other platform. Power BI is one of the fast growing platform, and it's a user friendly, I would say. It's kind of, if you see the Gartner report every year they publish, right? Gartner report, the Power BI is on the top. It's a leader, right? So it's a leader in all the BI tools that are available, and that there is a reason. So it's very easy to learn as well. I mean, if someone just have a basic understanding of Excel, they can just come attend the Power BI class, and then they can learn the thing. Most of the things they can just learn in just 2 days of the course. So that's the benefit. And then after that, that's the practice, right? So when we talk about basic analytics or in Excel, or advanced analytics in Excel, or analytics using Power BI, I think there is a flow that what we can see. We can see the very common similarities between also, and we can see the differences. For example, visualizations, right? The data visualizations and all insights, getting that is more you can do in Power BI. There are some limitations in Excel. Again, both are Microsoft product, right? Microsoft will try its best to enhance both the features in both the platforms as well. So yeah, I mean, both are different. I would suggest, frankly, both we need to learn. Yeah, start with Excel, then go with Power BI. That's the sequence we should follow.
Okay. I'm really glad to hear that. And of course, I think as managers, it's important for us to understand data and how to use data to answer the questions that we have and to make better decisions as well. So I think definitely that's a case for that. And I'm actually really glad that we have a partnership going on with Celsius right now, and we're actually working together with Celsius on 2 of their most popular IBF funded courses, which means that if you're a Singaporean, if you're a Singaporean PR, you actually get huge subsidies to come study Excel or to study like Power BI. So feel free to refer to our website on curiouscore.com under short courses, basics of Excel analytics or data analytics using Power BI, whichever is something that you feel you like to pick up. And I fully support Pranjal's recommendation. Maybe go with Excel first and then look at studying or learning Power BI as a new software that you can use to manipulate data. So Pranjal, I know you've been in several transformation projects, either as a consultant or as someone who is as part of the business itself. Can you help us understand over here, what's the role of data in the transformation journey over here?
Okay, I think that's what definitely we can see. We can let us try to dig deep into the various ways that probably data analytics can transform the businesses, right? I'll give you maybe some of the points, and then we can discuss on that. I would say it comes with the different, the different teams. For example, and the major important right now is customer, right? So if you see when it comes to transforming customer relationship, right? I mean, the customer is the crucial asset like any business depends on. That's the fact, right? I mean, observing the customer behavior is something that is very important. And the more the data that any enterprise collects or analyzes, or can see the patterns and the trends, I think it is more beneficial to them. They can provide like very customized service to customer based on that, and that's how they make the relationship very strong with the customer. So I think analytics plays very important role in customer retention. So that's the one thing. So that is for overall business when it comes to profit. Second is, I would say, when it comes to senior management level, or be it any managerial position, when you are taking any decision, so it helps taking the smarter in decision making process. For example, a lot of things. For example, any information your asset maintenance, or customer base, or delivery schedule, or employment payment, or anything, all there is a data, right? But these analytical tool can actually help in analyzing this, and also recommending the best option based on the insights that what we get. So I think it will just make sure the analytics just make sure that you are taking the correct decisions on correct time. So this is very important for any business, right? So yeah, I mean, these two approaches are there. Maybe one more I would say, in terms of the marketing, when you're saving cost, is like reducing the go-to-market cost. I mean, a lot of things in terms of the marketing, we see that like many organizations nowadays depend on geo-analytical data, right, to concentrate their go-to-market strategies. So I mean, executing this, they are kind of capable of touching different territories, and then we can actually decide that which all geographical region or market is they should tap on. So again, it comes with the data only, right? So I think there are different areas where analytical capabilities help, and it all ultimately it can help in transforming their business.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I often see there's a lot of problems in the transformation process, because so much of the data that companies actually collect is unstructured. And actually data needs to go through a process of structuring, and even data warehousing, having a central data warehouse where people can actually tap onto the data and use that to query business questions, for example, and that sometimes is a very long process, requires people to come in, and requires people to be trained as well, to be actually data savvy. So usually you can't just rely on hiring a few business analysts to support like a big business that has thousands of people asking data questions all the time. Right. So I think it's practical to actually train people to be self-sufficient and to answer some of these questions themselves. So any tips, any final tips for professionals or for businesses who are still on the fence in terms of picking up data? Any advice, words of advice that you might want to share?
I would say one thing maybe today that is very important. I mean, maybe one of the prime component to success is crafting the transformation team, and team is very important. So I would say there are a lot of things. There are maybe a couple of factors behind it. First would be, I would say, first clearly define the mission, that what's your objective is. I mean, and that should come from the management level, because they are the one who will implement that data literacy culture in the organization. So clearly first define the mission, why it is important, and then ensure that there is a collaboration among all the stakeholders, all the teams within the company itself. Then you kind of delegate the authority, because this is very important. Someone need to be responsible for some of the things, right? That's how it will go. And then try always to build a central team. That is important, because once you have that mindset, once you have the data mindset, everyone will go towards one direction, and I mean towards one goal they try to achieve in that way. So I would say, yes, it's really time to pick up the new things. It's really time to pick up the the different technology that whatever available in the market, and we just need to make sure that we are ahead in the market.
Yeah. I really like when you mention it's about customer centricity as well, especially when you brought in the marketing examples and all that. So we're a company that teaches user experience design, and we believe that a customer-centric world is the way of doing business. So I think being data savvy and being data minded or data centric is the way to go, and it starts with actually being educated.
Yes.
Even if it's as simple as reading books, or nowadays, with all the great subsidies coming to courses and taking advantage of those subsidies. So with that, we shall conclude our webinar session. Thank you so much, Pranjal, for joining us from Celsius, and I'll hand over the session back to Divian, my team member.
Thank you so much, Dylan, for having me.
All right. Thank you, Dylan. We have come to the end of the Learning Bytes. On behalf of CurioScore, we would like to thank Mr. Pranjal for his valuable insight shared, and everyone for your time in attending our Learning Bytes session. Before the session ends, we would like to share a bit more about CurioScore. Starting off with how CurioScore can help you and your team. CurioScore runs a variety of short courses and career accelerators for both individual and teams. These include our career conversion programs, UX/CX courses, design thinking courses, product management courses, our new data analytics courses, and customized masterclass and group and individual coaching. As Dylan has mentioned before, CurioScore, in collaboration with Celsius, is now running 2 new data analytics courses. The first is a basics in Excel analytics course for those who are interested in learning more about Excel and how it can be used to sort data sets. The second is a more advanced data analytics with Power BI course for those who want to learn more advanced data analytics related tool, and also want to increase their data analytics knowledge. Both courses, the links to both courses are in the chat right now. And for those who enjoyed today's session and want to watch the other videos in our Learning Bytes series, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, link in the chat below. And with that, we have come to the end of today's webinar. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and hope to see you all again at our next Learning Bytes.
Thank you, everyone.
Right, thank you.